Hey folks, welcome back to GP Reactions. My name is Gail and this is my channel. It is at the moment Sunday night. When this video will go out, I'm not sure, but I've had such a mad weekend I don't know, it felt, some people do like spring cleaning. I kind of do autumn cleaning. I don't really like to do much during the summer because, I mean, when it's hot and kind of stuffy, I don't want to be like, I don't know, just doing stuff. I just like to be out and about and actually enjoy the weather, if I have nice weather. So yeah, come the autumn, I just kind of suddenly feel a sudden urgency to do lots of stuff. So it's been one of those weekends that I've been doing a lot of cleaning and that and refreshing, furniture, getting rid of a bit of stuff, and yeah, I feel quite satisfied that I've achieved something. But hey, that's it'll all get dusty and dirty and messed up again, probably before Christmas, and then I'll have to do it all over again. But it's good to be doing some reactions tonight, and this reaction is, I'm going to do it tonight, but as it's Sunday, it'll probably go out, maybe, it could go out over the next couple of days, um, so yeah, I'm really, really keen to get on with it, and just wanted to thank everybody for liking and subscribing and commenting, suggesting music to listen to, donating to buy me a coffee. Every little penny helps these days, and the appreciation for a reaction really, really means something to me. So it's always appreciated, and I try and put it to some good use. And yeah, this is an interesting one. This is I can't remember who suggested this, but this is a group called The Men They Couldn't Hang, and the track I'm going to be reacting to is called Colours. It's from the album Waiting for Bonaparte, which is Napoleon Bonaparte, I'm assuming. So it could be something to do with the Napoleonic Wars. It's from 1988. This is track one on side two. So in this band we have, I'm not sure if his band is English or maybe American or Canadian or something, but we have Stefan Kush on vocals, guitar, and horn. Ricky McGee, do you know what? I scribbled this down. I can't read my own writing, and most people will just look on the internet for this. I tend to kind of write these things down. John Odgers on John. I wonder if this is actually an English group, whether it might be, I don't know, Norwegian or something. Philip Odgers on vocals, Paul Simmons on guitar and mandolin, and so interesting array of instruments actually so far that I'm reading. This was written by Paul Simmons, so he's the guitarist and the mandolin player. And yeah, I have no idea, know nothing about this band, never heard their name before, and certainly never heard anything that sounded like this. So yeah, without further ado, I think this might be the official video, so I really hope it doesn't get blocked. So yeah, let's go play and see what this one's about.
I am a member of the Council of the Naval Mutiny. I know traitor to my conscience, having done my sworn duty. These are my last words before the scaffold, and I charge you all to hear how a wretched British sailor became a citizen mutineer, pressed into service to carry powder. I was loyal to the crack of the whip. If I starved on the streets of Bristol, I'd starve worse on a British ship. Red is the color of the new republic. Blue is the color of the sea. White is the color of my innocence. Not surrender to your mercy. I was woken from my misery by the words of Thomas Paine on my barren soil.
I don't know who Thomas Paine is.
The sweetest drops of rain. Red is the color of the new republic. Blue is the color of the sea. White is the color of my innocence.
So I'm just going to pause it there. I was just reading a bit of history actually about it was coincidental. I was reading a bit of history about sort of like roughly around about the late 1700s, and it's interesting that they have a. Let me have a look. It's interesting that he's wearing a top hat because I believe in 17 around about 1797 or 1796 the first top hat was worn in public by a gentleman, and he got fined for basically it was like a disturbance of the peace wearing his top hat. It caused too many people were kind of ogling it, and yeah, it caused a disturbance of the peace. So it's interesting he's got a top hat on there. So, and I'm assuming that because it's Bonaparte, this is something to do with maybe I think there was a French. I'm not sure when the French tried to invade the UK. I'm sure that was around about the same time as well. So that might have been the Napoleonic Wars or Napoleon Bonaparte. And then I know that shortly after there was a war with maybe the Spanish as well. But yeah, I'm not really good at history, but for some reason at the end of centuries tends to like capture my imagination a bit more. I'm pretty sure also that it wasn't long after this that they had the British Royal Navy squadron for the enforcing the abolishment of slavery. So again, it's probably an interesting 40 years maybe. But so I will say as well that it kind of I was getting a few vibes of like Redbox vibes about this, but also maybe uh, it felt like a little bit like Scottish or Irish, and I'm not sure whether that's just because it sounds like he almost has an accent. But yeah, it's a nice little song actually. It's the lyrics are really clear. You can hear the story that he's telling, and it's not a great one for sailors back then. But yeah, it's good story.
My barren soil named Belline, the sweetest drops of rain. Red is the color of the new republic. Blue is the color of the sea. White is the color of my innocence. Not surrender to your mercy. So in the spring of the year we took the fleece, every sail and cannon and compass sheets, and we flew a Jacobin flag to give us heart. While Brits stood helpless, we were waiting for Bonaparte. Red is the color of the new republic. Blue is the color of the sea. White is the color of my innocence. Now surrender to your mercy. All you soldiers, all you sailors, all you laborers of the land, all you beggars, all you builders, you've come here to watch me hang. And to the masters, we are the rabble, we are the swinish multitude, but we can rearrange the colors of the red and the white and the blue. Red is the color of the new republic. Blue is the color of the sea.
That was great. I love the very end shot as well with the prison bars and that. So I'm guessing that this song was maybe kind of referring to the treatment of sailors, and that some might think about abandoning their posts, maybe mutiny, maybe. Um, I'm not sure when like pirates were a big thing, but yeah, it kind of feels like people that have been treated really, really badly by the navy, and yeah, they're just not very happy. So I kind of get the idea that it's because of that dissension that they've ended up in prison or they've been hung. I can only think that would have been mutiny or something to for that to happen, or I can't think what the word is where somebody just abandons their post, and where if a ship goes ashore, that's it, they don't return, but they're maybe captured afterwards. Um, and it's interesting because I love the lyrics. Red is the color of a new republic. Blue is the color of the sea. White is the color of my innocence. Not surrender to your mercy. And it's like a double-edged sword because the the British like flag, the Union Jack, as it's called when it's actually flown on a ship, um, was a sort of a symbol of power um, and I guess I suppose virtue to a certain degree with what came next, the crusade against after following the abolishment of slavery. I think the crusade, which is, I'm sure it was in the early 18th century, it was, they'd fly the Union Jack, and, the ships that saw that Union Jack would basically, if they were involved in slavery, they'd have a bit to worry about. So it was this kind of a slight symbol of virtue and goodness and power. But of course, if you was a sailor on one of those ships, it's a really, really hard life. And also, prior to that, if you're fighting the French and you've probably been enlisted. I think what would happen is they'd just grab you out of a bar or something. So they'd randomly just kind of I can't press ganged. I think was the word was the name for it. Maybe that's something that happened in Navy. But if people have been press ganged into serving on these ships, then obviously they're not going to be happy because it's not going to be voluntary. And it was only sort of during the squadron against for slavery that they were getting. I think they were getting paid decent money for per head of slave that they saved, but at the same time it was the conditions were terrible, um, and lots of people died. So yeah, it's good. So they're singing about the flag, but at the same time it's kind of a little bit of like it's not as great to them as maybe it is to politicians. It's a really, really good song, a political song, and I really enjoyed listening to it. I can't really think. I know there's like a whistle towards the end. I wasn't really thinking too much about the music on it, but mainly this song for me was about the lyrics, and yeah, I did have a feel of Red Box, especially at the end when they started waving with the flags and stuff. That was definitely had a Red Box feel about it. So yeah, that said, whoever suggested this, thank you very much because I love to listen to music from the 80s that I haven't heard before. Um, the arrogance of thinking I heard everything in the 80s during the 90s. Um, I've realised is yeah, it was a false premise really, and there's lots of music from the 80s. That was really current stuff, the synth stuff, and that which I haven't heard. And this had its own feel to it, especially the early late 80s, because there was a lot of really good indie music and stuff. Just music that kind of just slightly went under the radar because of the emergence of the like an R&B type music. Um, and of course, rap was becoming a little bit more edgy and stuff. So a lot of his music was kind of like a little bit pushed to the side. Nobody was really that interested. There's the sort of these person-centered music was, the things to listen to really at the end of the 80s. But no, this was good. I enjoyed it, and the men they couldn't hang. The colours. Just let me know what you think about this song and its contents. I'm particularly interested to know what you think about the lyrics and stuff. Because like I said, my knowledge of history isn't great, and usually towards I kind of know more towards like the end of centuries. I don't know why that is, but that's usually the case. And this is definitely towards the end of the century. Yeah, do you want me to comment and take care of yourself and have a great week? And hopefully, if you hear that this is on a recorded on a Sunday, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go out on a Sunday. I might put it out Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So anyway, take care of yourselves and yeah, have a great week.